Hey friends, did you know the video that you are about to see was done in Terri's Creation Station almost a year ago? So the information as far as the supplies and availability of those things that we used in the video may not be available, but you can certainly use the techniques that I go through, and that's what's important. And the good news is, if you want current content, you just have to join Terri's Creation Station, www.terriscreationstation.com, and you'll get current content, so check it out. Hi everybody, it's Terri with Terri's Creation Station, here for another installment of a design I know you're going to love to make. And today we are going to do a nautical theme wreath. This is our theme. And it says, we cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust our sails. So that's a nice reminder. And everything is going to be built around this sign. All the colors, all the components that we're going to put together is going to have this nautical theme. So first, we're going to make a bow. Now, I've selected 3 different ribbons, and we're going to just use this great tool that is now out by Pro Bow the Hand. And you can make a bow using these 2 posts or dowels. And I'm going to start with just, let's say, a 9-inch tail. I don't want anything too long. And the easy thing about this is you can watch your bow being built as you go. We're going to pinch it right there, give it a twist, and then go right down in the middle of that. Here's the markings for your the width of your loop. So I'm going to make this first loop about 7 inches, and then I'm going to come in and just pinch it again, just like we did the first time. Then you go twist and down. Okay, so you can look at your measurement there on the loop and see if it's 7 inches, and that one's perfect. Now we're going to come over here to the 7 and then do a pinch, and this is your middle. And then we're going to go ahead and make another couple of loops of this ribbon. Now you can either do the same width or you could do a smaller one. We're just going to go ahead and keep it at 7 inches. And then gather, give it a twist before you put it down into the middle. And that gets it on the correct side. And this is a fast way to put a bow together if you don't want to use your hands or tie a hand bow. You certainly can use any other bow maker that you want, or just use your hands. So here we have our 2 loops. I'm going to go ahead and cut this tail, and that's our first base of the bow itself. Now we're going to come in with this nautical theme. It's perfect for what we're doing. And you're just going to dovetail your end. Well, didn't I just do that backwards? Let me turn it this way. What is wrong with me today? Look, I just keep doing it backwards and backwards and backwards. Now, we got it. I swear I'm dyslexic. Undiagnosed. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the tail. And then twist, just like we did on the other one. Now, we can make this one a little bit smaller. Instead of the 7 inches, come in about 6. And you can just eyeball it, or you can look at the measurement either way. And then we're going to twist. Once you get this going, it's so simple. And then we're going 6 inches again. This is going to make me want to speed up my beach trip after playing with this nautical stuff. And then we could either leave it like that, which I think we are going to leave that, and just do 2 loops, 1 on each side. Let's see if I can trim this one the right way. Yay. Yay me. Okay. And you have your little spool holder here to hold that, which works out really nice. And then we're going to put in this nice gray check, give it a twist, push it down, And then you can either stay the same 6 inches or come in a little bit. It's up to you. And you can see how fast that went. For our bow, now we're going to be adding some other ribbon in here probably, but this bow is going to go in. And you just pull it off, and then you've got your ribbon, see, all stacked together. And I'm going to use just some regular floral wire to keep it together. Some people use zip ties. It's just up to you, however you do it. And we're going to tie this around. If you'll twist your bow, that's a little bit easier than winding the wire itself. Okay, so we have our basic bow and it's ready to go on our project. We may make another bow, but for now this is the only one I'm going to do until I figure out if I need another bow. So let's put all this aside and add this bow to our grapevine. Get this all out of the way. Now we're using an oval base, and this is a 24-inch grapevine base, and I like to think of the clock, so this being 12, this being 6, you know, and 3 and 9. So if you look at those points on your wreath, you can kind of say, well, this one should go at 10 o'clock, or this should go at 11 o'clock. We're going to put this bow at about 10 o'clock. Now, I like to use this wire on my projects because it's stronger than the floral wire. So we're going to use this wire around our bow and then push it through the grapevine at about 10 o'clock. This is going to give us an idea of where we can put our other elements by putting this in first. Okay, so I'm going to step over here on the other side. And so this being the top of the wreath, we're going to put it in right about here. Okay, so I'm going to use my pliers and just take this and push through the wreath to the back. And then just tie that off in the back. And it really holds it securely. And then you can trim, we'll trim that off here in a little bit. Okay, so here's our bow. We're not going to get too involved in the fluffing of it because we've got a lot that's going to be happening around the bow, and it's probably going to get messed up again. So, but let's just get it somewhat fluffed out. And see, it's just simple. We didn't want too much overbearing the design. Just enough to give it that nautical feel with that anchor in there. And we can always add more. Okay, next we're going to put the sign on. And I've already shown you the sign. It has this hanger on it. We can either use the hanger or we can discard it. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. Let me grab these. And we're going to put a staple in these. Actually, it's got these staples already in it, which I think I'll just pull out. So we've gotten the staples out of here, and I cut the burlap or the tie that was on here because I want to put my on tie on there. So I've just got some of this tinsel rope, and I'm going to just cut it right down the middle. It's just a piece. We're going to staple it, and I have my fancy electric stapler now. How awesome is that? Make sure your staples are not bigger than the depth of your sign. You sure don't want it to go through the front. Okay, so we got that there. Let's get this one on. Actually, I might move it a little bit closer in the center because... So just a couple of those and it works great. Okay, so this is going to go right in this area. So I'm going to use my pliers over here. Push this through. Once we get all these focal points in, it's easier to get your greenery to go in from here. So let me come in through the back because this grapevine's kind of thick. Okay, so we got that, and let's go in over here. Now, I'm going to want this a little bit at an angle, and if I want to change the angle, all I have to do is put another tie here on the bottom and adjust it. So, but for now, I think this is going to work. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now we can start filling in our greens. This is a wonderful base. I've used this before. To me, it has that sort of beachy feel to it. And I like the grass that's just wild and kind of crazy. But what we're going to do, we're not going to use this whole. We're going to cut it in half. And it's going to be quite a feat to do that because it's kind of thick. But we're going to go ahead and just start trimming through this. You're just going to have to do it in several cuts. You could even take a knife, or, you know, if you had a big cutter, you could do that. I do have a stem cutter, but this won't fit in it, I don't believe. Might can try it when we get it open, but just use your strength, get it cut in half, just a little bit at a time. Just gotta go through all the layers. And then once you kind of get halfway through it, you can start going through the center of it. Open it up. Just have to be persistent. Push, push, push. Okay. All the trouble, it's going to be worth it, I can promise you. Because this looks fantastic. Okay, so there, we got it through. Now, I wonder if I could put it in my other cutter and see if it'll go through. Now that I'm able to get it up under there, let's just put it in there and see what happens. So we're going to cut it about in half. Remember. It may be too big for this, but it made a nice dent in it anyway. Get me started. Okay. So we're going to have to just cut through it like we did, about halfway, right in through here. I tell you, when you're doing floral design, you've got to have good grip strength. If you can't get this cut, ask a strong friend. Okay, let's go at it from this way. So now we've finally gotten these cut, and we're going to zip tie them to the base of the grapevine from here, and then we're going to do another one up here on the top. So I'm going to grab some zip ties, and these work good because they're going to hold it really good in place, and it's just easier to work with than wire. So we're going to zip tie that. Get my cutters over here. I mean, I love this already. It's got this texture to it now. And this wreath is just perfect for this project. And I just think it looks kind of beachy, this grassy looking stuff. Okay. We're going to play with that and get it sort of fixed. And then we're going to do the one up here. Now you can decide if you want it to go the same direction as this or if you want to flow it in the other direction. Personally, I like it going the opposite direction, so let's do it this way. And we're going to just right here by the bow, put this one on. Let's pull that real tight. You know, the key to these types of wreaths is to give the same feel as what your theme is. So, I mean, I wouldn't put roses with this, or it's got to have sort of the same flowers that are associated with nautical or beachy. And it just gives it more authenticity. All right, one up here. Make sure I have it turned the right way. There we go. So this is a great base already. The thing I love about this greenery too is that you can shape it. So it does have a little bit of bend in it. It kind of looks like my hair when I get up in the morning. Oh, wangy wangy. Okay, so that's a great start. Let's go ahead and add some greenery. And I've got several of these bushes that are just like a basic look for the beach. So I'm going to put them in my stem cutter and cut them all at once, right? And that is so quick and easy. If you don't have one of these stem cutters, it's a great investment in your business. So you can do all that at one time. Okay, so there we have like 4 bundles. We're going to start placing that greenery inside the wreath. Now, I'm not going to pick these because they've got a good solid stem on them and lots of good body to it. So I'm just going to start gluing and sticking without the pick. And I'm going to follow the same direction as the sea oats. I'm going to call those sea oats. I know they're not sea oats, but I'm going to call them that. So I've got my glue pan over here, and just follow the direction of that wreath of the sea oats. And we're kind of trying a little bit to cover the base of this wreath that we put in there. It's not a big deal because it blends in, but it does camouflage it a little bit. I'm really excited to do this design. I've been wanting to do this one. And you can put 2 or 3 of these in at a time. You don't have to do singles. Let's just be aware of the sign and not get too far down in so that we cover up the words on the sign itself. So you want to keep that in mind when you're building it. Make sure to go behind it. You want some depth. Go in the middle. Just going to go back up here. I see a spot that needs it. Right there. So just fill in all around. And then bend those stems. You see how they're kind of straight? You want to give them some movement, so bend them around and not let them stay straight. Let's come up right behind this sign with a few of these. Bend them around so they've got some shape. Now it's okay for this grass to kind of go in front of the sign a little bit because you can still read it. Right? I think I put glue on that one. Here we go. So we judged that pretty good. It looks like we're going to have just the right amount. Bend it, shape it. And then at the end, when you get through, you can go to the back of your wreath and see if there are any places that happen to stick through. Don't worry too much about it right now. Just keep your momentum going. And that way you'll keep your creativity in place. You can do all that housekeeping stuff later. Never want to interrupt the flow, if possible. This is already coming together and looking really good. Stay right there. I'm going to come up here a little bit more out of the bow. And continue on a little bit further here. You know, a lot of your designing skills has to do with the materials you use. If you've got really unusual materials, things that are not ordinary per se, you're going to have a better result. That looks pretty. Now I'm kind of at the end of my bush, so I want to just look around and see if there are any spots that need filling in. I think right here could use one. And I've got plans for something there, so I'm not going to fill that up. The pollen is in full swing here in Louisiana, so all this scratchy throat and sneezing and clearing the throat and all that's got to go. Let's put some right there. Camouflage that piece. Okay. Oh, we had 2 little babies left. Let's find them a home. Never waste them. Find a little spot for them. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I envisioned. Okay, I've got these little bushes. I think I've got 4 of those. And I thought they kind of look like, you know, that sea kind of greenery. So we're just going to leave them whole, and I'm going to stick them around the wreath just for some added interest. So I'm going to start maybe right about here. Now see what that did? It's got a different color. Completely a different texture even. And adds so much. So already I can see there's some places in the back where some of the greeneries come through. And like I said, that's a housekeeping matter. So later on we'll, you know, when you're completely finished. Okay, let's put one down here. You could cut this up if you wanted to spread it around a little bit more, but I think the impact of it whole is better, in my opinion. All right, let's see. I think I'm gonna do one kind of coming out of the bow, pointed in a different direction. So let me show you. Right that way. Okay, so everything else is flowing this way, and then we've got that going in the opposite direction. We have a few more stems to pick from, and I've got some succulents. These bushes have seashells on them, which is awesome. And let's cut these up because they are a little bit too big to put in there whole. So you see they've got some shells. For this design, that's just perfect. So we're going to put these in by themselves. And the stems are substantial, so we're not going to have to pick any of this. Well, we can do our stem cutter. Okay, so let's put this whole thing in there. I'm going to put it this way so you can see the shell. Well, actually there's a hole right there it won't grab. So you know what, I am going to put a pick on this because it's come apart. It's split open, so let's do this. When that happens, just kind of twist them around a little bit, and then let's put it in the pick machine and get them connected again. So that way we have them all back together and it's going to stay in there better. You have to be ready to do things to solve your problem. And now that's a better fit, and it's also very stable in the wreath instead of falling out. Okay, let's put in a few more of these. Again, this piece fell off, so let's just pick it in there. It's wonderful to be able to create your own stems. So I've got this little shell, I want it to show, so let's put it right here. And I'm going to bend it out so it's a little bit more visible right there. Adjust my greenery so it's not covering. I think this one's going to go in okay without me adjusting or doing anything with the pick machine. So let's put it right about here. And this one's got a starfish. Isn't that awesome? Put that up here, maybe. Kind of work it so it's a little bit more frontal and visible. I like that at an angle. Okay, let's go right about here. This grapevine is extremely thick, meaning it's hard to pierce through. Well, let me put a pick on it, see if it'll pierce through it better. This thing's sharp, so that'll help in pushing through. And I don't want to cover up those little green things. I love those. Nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and cut this out. Well, I say I am. Oh, I'm on the burlap. Well, maybe too much. Let's cut out a few. This has got a burlap rope on it. I think I was catching some of that. Okay. Getting my workout today for sure. Okay, let's go over here. These are pretty full bushes, so you get a lot out of them. Let's put one over here. And remember, we don't waste anything, so stick that one leaf that came out somewhere and use it. You've paid for it, so you may as well use it. Let's see. Up here. And you can make your shells go in a little bit different directions. They don't all have to be pointed the same way. So down here, I'm going to make this one go the opposite direction. And I think I'm going to pick it because that grapevine's real thick through that bottom area, as we've already seen. So I'm going to point it kind of the other direction or down. Nice. This is coming together quickly. We only have a few more things to add, and it will be all done. Now I do want to pull through some of this grass. See, we've kind of buried it with that greenery, but we're going to pull some of it forward because I want it to be seen and not be hidden, because that's part of the look that we're going for. So just kind of pull it out back to the front where it belongs. Let's see, we can put those two together. I've got strings going every which way. Okay, let's go back over here. All right. Now I've got these two succulents, and we're going to find a spot for those. We only have the two, so we'll probably put one kind of up in this area and then one down here. But again, that just gives a little bit different focal point. And let's put one maybe right in this area. There we go. You're probably thinking, oh my God, that is so crazy wild. Yeah, and that's the way we want it. Crazy wild. Find a little spot for this because it's not going to get wasted. All right, I have these tropical flowers. We're going to add these just for some color because they've got that cream color. These are kind of spongy looking, but they're very pretty tropical type blooms. So we're going to put these in strategically, probably right there. I like that one there. Let's see if we can put one right in. If you'll hold your element up to where you're thinking about putting it before you glue it, that way, if you want to move it somewhere else, then you get sort of an idea of what it's going to look like before you glue it, or before you commit to it. Now that's got to kind of be over in this area because I don't want it covering up the words. Okay, one more. And I think it's going to have to go right over there. Right in here. Nice. Okay, we've got one element left. No, actually, we have two. I have this nautical rope, and I'm just going to weave it around in and through our design. So I am going to put a pick on it, though, because I want to be able to put it in there really good. So here we're adding another texture. Another feature. This is tying in with the theme that we're going for. So I'm going to come over here behind the bow. Anytime you can add anything that's like this, it just adds so much more to what you're doing. Let me get my pliers. Push that down way in there. Okay, so from here, all we're going to do is just simply weave this in our elements. We're not going to attach it. It's just going to be going in and out. Look at that, glue strings everywhere. Now these will hold things, so if you wanted to use one of the pieces of that wreath that we stuck in there to hang on to anything, you can. We're just going to weave this in and out. Doesn't have to be exact. Just kind of zigzag it through. And that just added so much more. Okay, our final element is this adorable sailboat. And it also fits in with our overall theme. We're going to put it in our design right about there, I think. So you get an idea of where you want it to go, right? Okay, let's put a, let's see, a piece of this tinsel rope. On the bottom. And then we're just going to staple that. See if I can get it, hold it so it doesn't go through. This is tricky to hold it and make me not miss it and get my finger. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, so now I'm just going to fish this through the bottom of the wreath. And then we're going to tie it off on itself. Now this is by feel, or you can take your wreath and put it on the table and just tie it too. But I'm just doing this by feel. So I'm just taking that rope and twisting it back on itself to just hold that sailboat. Okay. All right, let me adjust this bow. I'm gonna go over here to do that. You could add some more ribbon tails if you wanted. I don't think it needs it. But you can play with these elements and get them shaped the way you want them. And especially this grass, I want it to be forward away from the base of the grapevine. So we kind of smashed some of it down when we put the other stuff on there. But this stuff looks like cotton candy. Maybe I'm just hungry. But just make it very random. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. It's a wrap. That didn't take too long. Remember, you'll have a supply list of all the things that we've used today and where to acquire them, and that'll be easy for you to put this design together. And I'm excited that you get to make this. Let's go to the beach, how about that? Or somewhere nautical, or even the lake maybe. So hope you enjoyed this. Send your pictures if you make one, and we'll talk again soon. Bye everybody. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment. We love hearing from you. And until next time, I'll say goodbye.